This is Ladies Advanced Strength, Phase 1, Day 1. So the first exercise is the leg curl. So let's go for 15 reps in the first warm-up set. And you want to drive up so that the pad touches the hamstrings at the top. This is a very simple bit of advice, but it makes a big difference to your leg curls at the top. Make sure that you fully contract your hamstrings, squeeze up so the pad touches the actual hamstring at the top. You also want to keep your hips pressed down into the pads and not to be rising up too much off. So the way Karen is doing it there is perfect. So supersetted with the leg curl is a heel elevated back squat. So there's so many cues you could use for a back squat. People who've been back squatting for 10 years are still working on their technique. But one of the three main ones we're going to focus on today is your grip. So making sure the grip is at shoulder width so that your back muscles are nice and flexed. So you can start there. So grip really tight. And you can see there straight away her traps are a little more tense because her grip is nice and tight. Go. Heels close enough together, toes pointing out, and this weight will be very comfortable for you to go for 10 reps warm-up set. And the heels elevated allows you to bend your knees a lot more so you get a lot deeper. So it covers or it masks poor ankle flexibility. If you have poor ankle flexibility, but even if you're quite flexible like Karen is, you can use the heels elevated back squat to focus on your quads more and get more depth. Let's go for 10 in the first warm-up set. And anytime the heels elevated, you're really focused on bending your knees. Second set, a little bit heavier, not as high in reps. And again, the real focus is always on the top part or the end range rather than when your hamstring is lengthened. So the hamstring, you want to really squeeze up high so the pad touches your hamstring. And the more hamstring curls you do properly, coming into your squat days, you're going to have far better knee and hip health, and your knees and hips will just feel far better when you're heavier squatting. So she's going to go a little bit heavier this set, but the same cue. What we're going to focus on more than anything else is just a really tight grip, so that your upper back muscles are nice and flexed. The heels elevated, and really focusing on the bending of the knees. And while you can work on other things like breathing and hip position and your eyes and loads of other cues like that, those are the main ones to get started with. For anyone, just focus on bending your knees as much as possible, keeping your upper back flexed and tight, and making sure the barbell rests comfortably on your traps. Reps. That's excellent set. The third and final set, or the top set, we're going to try and make it a little bit more intense. We're going to try and push to absolute failure, okay, which is very safe to do on a machine exercise like this. So you keep driving your heels up until the pad touches your hamstrings till you actually can't get any more reps whatsoever. And that's your absolute failure. So it can be dangerous on some lifts. The vast majority of lifts, you're very safe to train until you've got nothing left in the tank. But not people don't do it often enough. Let's go for 3 more. I think we'll manage 3. Good full range of motion. 2. 1 and pause there. Come down a little bit. And hold there. Squeeze. A little higher. So isometric contraction for another 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Final set, just nice straightforward ramp up from 30 to 40 to 50 kg. And this will be the hard set. So again, we're going to go to failure here, or as many as we can get with good form. And while you let your form maybe dip a little bit in a leg curl or a seated cable row, you'd want your squat technique to be perfect all the way through. So as soon as form starts dipping at all, you reach technical failure, you're quitting on that set. Okay? So let's go for 6 here then. The bar, keep your eyes focused on that bit of tape there. And just focus on bending the knees and standing straight up. Good. Let's go for 3 more breaks. Squeeze the bar really tight. Tight grip, keep the eyes focused. 2, excellent, 7, 1 more. Drive up through your knees. Excellent. Perfect. And that's the first 3 supersets done. So I will take a break now, take a minute break, grab a drink, and then move on to your next superset. Chest supported row, supersetted with the seated shoulder press. So what I want to do, you can hop on there and grab the top grip with your hands on top. That's a pronated grip. You want to really focus on squeezing your shoulder blades back together. So really squeezing your scapula back together. And because this is a chest supported row machine, you're trying to focus on the stretch more than anything. While the seated cable row allows you to focus on the contraction a bit more, this is definitely a bit more stretch emphasis. So you can see when the shoulder blades drop really low. To get back out of that portion of the lift and squeeze your shoulder blades back, that's really the main focus of the lift. First set of the seated shoulder press. So start with the dumbbells on your knees and then bring them up to neutral. And just twist the grip to neutral and your elbows slightly in front, not fully, just slightly at an angle, and just press straight up. Let's go for 15 first set. So as you can see here, that's perfect technique because the range of motion is so big. You can see at the bottom, the dumbbell comes all the way down and touches her shoulder, and she's fully extending her arms all the way to the top. That's going to work your shoulders, triceps, and your upper chest. I would always go a little bit lighter on the first set and then move it a little bit heavier as the sets go on. It might not be as important to do something like that with your isolation shoulder exercises like lat raises, but it's always a great option for your heavier dumbbell presses. We're going to go a little bit heavier and we're going to make this your top set, okay? This is 15 kg, 5 kg heavier than your first set. And again, we're going to try and train it until failure and really focus on that squeeze at the top. Drive your elbows back. And that's textbook technique because she's using the chest support and her chest isn't coming back off, using her lower back. Her chest is staying on it and her back muscles are driving the weight back. And go, let's go 3 more. 3. Good, getting tough now. Squeeze back. 2. And contract hard. 1. Excellent. Top set on the shoulder press, so take a few seconds. And this time what I want you to focus on is keeping your feet behind your knees and driving up as fast as you can from the bottom. Okay? So as soon as the dumbbell touches your shoulder, you're trying to explode that body. Fast comes centric portion of the lift when you can. The shoulder and punch hard. 8, 7, 6. Squeeze the dumbbell tight. 5, 4, and squeeze the dumbbell tight. Drive, drive, drive. Excellent, excellent technique. Drive up. Last one, last one, last one. Super. Well done. Good, tough.
Yeah.
The next one is the front foot elevated split squat. A crucial exercise, I'm always talking about it, and I literally get every single client who comes to the gym to do this in some form. So we'll be doing it in quite a low platform today. We do it on the higher box sometimes. Put one shoe on the box, make sure the full shoe is on it, back leg dead straight, drop to the ground, back up. Front to back, ATV style. We'll do one body weight warm-up set first. 100%. So this is crucial for training the bottom range of the squat. So as you saw from the first two exercises we did today, we're trying to train full knee flexion in the hamstring curl and then the heels elevated squat to get even lower range. And this is another exercise that's going to help you achieve that really deep squat. And just step your back forward a little bit. Forward. Good. So as low as you can, you're going to push your knee as far forward, past your toe as you can. Back leg straight, so big stretch on the hip flexor, and push the knee as far forward as you can. Whereas the higher up this box is at the front, the elevation of the front foot, the easier it's going to be as you get down lower to the ground and it gets a little harder. So this is quite low. I go up to that height of the box, but any height of the box is fine starting off and just gradually improve it by getting lower and lower. 45-degree back extension, another favourite that's on basically every program we do here at the gym. So what you're aiming for here, more than anything else, is that you're extending from your glutes and not all your lower back. So even though it's called back extension, it's mainly a glutes and hamstrings exercise, and you're trying to get your glutes and hamstrings to do most of the work. So to bend from the glutes, make them as long as possible and contract them hard as you can. Extend them out, make them as long as possible and contract hard as you can. And not bend too much from the lower back. That's an excellent technique there from Karen. And if you're doing it like that with straight legs, your hamstrings and glutes are going to be doing most of the work. Nothing wrong with feeling your lower back and your lower back doing some of the work, but you definitely want it to be mainly a hamstrings and glutes exercise. Second set. And again, we're really focused on bending the knee as much as possible. So again, paired with the hamstring curl, which is extremely important for your knees and hips when you're going into heavy squats. So you got your hamstring curl first, and then you got your heels elevated back squat, and then your front foot elevated split squat. This day of the program is really focusing on how to get a deeper squat, which is more Olympic style, where you're bending your knees as much as possible and getting nice and low to the ground. So some people maybe aren't built to go extremely low, and that's fine, but everyone, no matter who you are, wants to get as low as possible. You see that technique where she can push her knee forward past the toe, keep the back leg straight, and that's why it's called the split squat. Back leg is basically doing the splits with that big stretch on the hip flexor. Again, front foot elevated, squeeze the dumbbells nice and tight, keep your back muscles all contracted, focus on pushing the knees forward. Squeeze the weight as tight as you can, push the knees forward, chest up, shoulders back, really focus on bending the knee. Excellent technique. You must be really tough on the quads. We'll go for 4 more reps. 4, 3, and balance is often the trickiest part of this exercise at the start, which is why you start on a higher elevation on the front foot. If you're struggling with balance, it's easier the higher the front foot goes. The second working set here, we're going to go for 20 reps with the weight. So a lot of people, they can barely do these body weight. But if they're taught how to do them properly, and you can jump in there, Ken, with proper technique, high rep sets and adding weight is, it's nearly, we take it for granted. We do with absolutely everyone here at the gym. Even with people with a history of lower back pain, they can build up to 20 rep sets and doing sets with up to 10, 20 kg holding here like a goblet squat. So as you can see there, if you've barely done this exercise before, never done it before, you might think 12 kg added weight for 20 reps is really, really difficult. She can do that comfortably. She's done up to 20 kg for 20 reps. She's done banded reps, she's done paused reps. So to have that strength in the lower back, hamstring and glutes in this exercise transfers over then to your heavier lifts like your RDLs, Bulgarian split squats and the heavier squats. So bend at the waist, chin down, squeeze your glutes. Bend at the waist, squeeze your glutes. So the way she's doing it is the way we do it most commonly here at 100%. You can tilt your shoulders a little bit more like that to make it even more glutes. But generally, we do it just like that most of the time. Face pull, what you're trying to do is hold the rope apart and keep it up as high as possible. Okay, so you can do exercises down here like this. They're more rolls. So that's the big mistake with a face pull. They just don't face pull it, they roll it. You want to keep it up high, externally rotate as much as you can. Okay? Perfect. As you can see there, she's trying to squeeze her shoulder blades as tight together as possible at the top. And really externally rotate. So this is probably the best exercise you can possibly do for shoulder health. And this is something I've done every single week in my own training for as long as I can remember. For at least 10 years now I've been doing this 1 or 2 days a week. You can do it on back day, you can do it on chest day. All my clients will be very familiar with this exercise. And supersetted with this is the back raise. Can be tricky enough for technique at the start, so the weight at the front. And what you're always trying to make sure is that the weight doesn't come up too high. Come up, about there is fine. And your elbow always stays higher than your wrist. So chest up, lift your elbow up high. And go 4 more, 4, 3, squeeze the dumbbell tight, 2, and 1. Excellent. Second set here, and what we'll try and focus on this time again is that real squeeze back. And because this superset is 2 exercises for the same muscle group, the shoulders, it's actually a lot more difficult and creates a lot more lactic acid than exercise for 2 opposite body parts. So maybe supersetting an upper body exercise and a lower body exercise, or supersetting an antagonistic pair, so like a push exercise with a pull exercise. So anytime I add in these shoulder supersets, they're always really, really challenging, even with lightweight. Because the shoulder is a small muscle group and you're pushing a lot of lactic acid, a lot of blood into the muscle at one time. So lightweight, higher reps, and combining the 2 exercises really challenges the shoulders. Squeeze back, and this is the best way to train the shoulders, not with heavy weights. And again, weight to the front, and straighten your arms a little bit more. So you want your arms to be maybe 90% straight. As you can see there, Karen is very lean, so you can see the exact muscles we're working on, which is the deltoids, and through the face pulls you have your traps and your rear delts. Keep the elbows up, higher than the wrists. Perfect. So it's not a competition to see can you get the weight as high as possible. It's trying to isolate the deltoids or the shoulders, lift your arms up. And keep your elbows higher than your wrists. Okay, so that's day one of the Ladies Advanced Strength Program. Tough one?
Yeah.
Really tough when you're racing through it like that. Usually that takes me maybe 25 to 35 minutes with clients, and sometimes if it's a little bit longer, up to 45 minutes, but you shouldn't be all day doing it. Stretching, warm-up included, is definitely less than an hour.